Hey folks, today I'd like to tell you about a cool little Kickstarter backed. It's called Getaway Driver. It's a fun little game. I want to tell you all about it coming right up. Hey YouTube, this is Peck Tech, and yet another Kickstarter arrived. Just a couple of weeks ago, I've had a chance to play this a couple of times. It's called Getaway Driver, and oh man, this one is a lot of fun. Now, my taste in Kickstarter games tends to be like giant robots, monsters, sci-fi, war games, things like that. I mean, I really go for that. Those are my little trigger points. But very rarely does my wife want to play a game like that with me. And she is, bar none, my biggest game partner. So I've been branching out, especially last year, as I searched for games to play and games to review and look at. And I came across this one as I was perusing Kickstarter one day. I was really drawn to the artwork and the theme. Thematically, this game sort of boils down to every car chase that you've ever seen in a film into a card game. So it's got all the different stunts, the weird things that you'd see in a car chase, you know, in a getaway car chase especially. And even all throughout the campaign, he was showing clips from like Sharky's Machine and all the classic old movies with the different car chases. As soon as I opened the box to this game, I was instantly impressed. It's got this nice kind of off-colored finish to it, and it's got it feels expensive to touch because it's got that texture to it. I don't know what it is about the texture of the box, and it feels weird to kind of mention that in a review, but I gotta say, quality-wise, just holding in your hand, you feel like you've got a quality product, and I think that that's important, especially since board games are such a tactile thing anyway. Inside, you've got some instructions, and these instructions they're not very difficult. It's not very difficult to pick up, and in fact, it has a link right here in the first line. It has a link where you can go watch a video on how to play. So I'm not going to delve onto the rules or anything. I'm just going to kind of show you the game and tell you what my impressions are from playing it a few times with my wife. All right, what else we have in here is a bag, and this bag is where all your tiles are going to go. You're going to put your tiles in here, and you'll be drawing them. The city draws them. Basically, there's two players. One person is the city and the police, and the other person is the getaway driver trying to, get out of town. It has a whole bunch of tiles. So these tiles that it comes with are going to go, and there's quite a few of them. They go into the bag, and basically the getaway driver wins if he can avoid capture before all these tiles are drawn. This game did come with a number of meeples too, and they all had stickers that you could apply to them. It was pretty cool. I had kind of an incident with one of my stickers because my cat jumped on me right as I was putting a sticker on. I ripped a couple of windows in half, but yeah, I actually wasn't going to put the stickers on, but I've enjoyed having them on there. They make it pretty neat. Seeing as how this was a Kickstarter game, they got a bunch of upgrades. So they've got a bunch of meeples and tokens and things where they wooden pieces where they normally would probably have a little cardboard chit instead. All these little caution markers are really cool too. So when the game starts, the driver will have some cards, and these cards will have stunts and different ways to get away. And the police will have some cards that are basically designed to deploy more troops and stop the driver in different ways. So each game of Getaway Driver begins like this, basically taking all the tiles, and they go into a bag. Then the driver picks 5 cards to use for the game. And that's his cards to use the whole game. He keeps them secret. And the rest go to the box. The driver also picks the color car he wants. And I'm going to pick red, I believe. So I'm going to set this aside. Now the police have a few options too. These numbers represent what they can purchase. Like they want to get more patrol cars, or this motorcycle, or the armored vehicle, the dreaded helicopter. These are all resources that the police can use to try to stop the driver. And a lot of them are just really effective. The driver has this pursuit meter, And that's how they measure just how in danger they are. This is how the police win. They've got to get this pursuit meter all the way to here. So if the police are still in your area at the end of your move, this goes up. If they're not there, it goes down. And basically, you got to just keep them away from you long enough not to drive this pursuit meter all the way to the red light, and you'll survive. What's interesting about this game is it's really dripping with theme. I mean, you've got these cards, these escape cards with, you've got stunts like drive on the sidewalk, hit the gas, go into oncoming traffic or ramming speed, bait and switch, partners in crime. But you only have so many of these tricks. That's where this comes in. These are your stash markers. And what you're going to do with these, to start the game, take your pursuit meter, kind of set it aside. So when the game starts, you just kind of throw these out into the board. And then the police get to move these. Get to move them around. I think they can be like 2 card lengths away from where they were before. So, you know, you could really spread these out just as much as you want. Then the driver just puts his card just wherever he wants. Just like so. And the police put their car what would be 2 squares away, and you just kind of imagine what 2 squares away looks like. Like this would be right around the corner. And so from that point on, it's a back and forth, and it becomes this real cat and mouse chase across town. And all these tiles present, you know, certain hazards. There's red lights, green lights, and yellow lights, where either the yellow lights, the driver can choose to create a hazard and maybe cause the police to crash. The red lights are already screwed up. I mean, there's one of them's got here's a red light. It's a farmer's market. So people are out there, you know, with their tents and stuff and their umbrellas selling food and stuff like that. And you've got yellow lights that might be like a shopping center or road debris. There's just any number of scenarios baked into every single card. I think my favorite of all these has got to be the parade with the Superman and the Pokemon. So when the police player goes, they take all the cards, they put them in a bag, and they pick out 3. You know, so they got their 3 scenarios here. And then they try to choose what's most advantageous for them as far as eventually catching this driver and keeping them away from these bags. And the reason the driver wants to get to all these bags is remember that limited 5 cards that they had? For every bag that they have, they can redo one of these stunts. So they can exchange their bag of goods for another one of these cards. If they haven't spent the cards yet, they'll just have the bags for later. So it's good to try to get those as soon as you can. So far in the games we've played, by the end of the game, it really comes down to the wire. So it's important that you get as many options as possible on the table. Now, as the driver, your object is to run that bag out of tiles. So it's real advantageous to just kind of drive out into the open, because when the city places the tiles, they're going to pick stuff that they think they're going to pick where they think you're going to go, give you the baddest deal, and then they put them all face down. Now, the city has to give you an option for going right, left, or straight. And then you got to pick which way to go. So you can try to be unpredictable. Maybe you're going to turn 90 degrees and go this way. Maybe you've got a special card you can play, so you can pop a U-turn and maybe grab something and then head back. But these are choices that you'll make as you go along until the whole bag is empty, or the police have run their meter all the way up and you're in jail. My wife and I have had a great time playing this game. We haven't played a whole lot of games. Like, we've probably 4 or 5 games. Definitely enough to know that we enjoy playing it. We really have a good time. It's not terribly difficult to pick up. It takes a minute because there's a little bit more to the rules than a typical little small box game. This game's very reminiscent to me of maybe the Tiny Epic games or a lot of other small box games that you've probably seen before. To me, it's a lot of fun. There was really a lot of thought that went into this. It's easy to pick up, but it's a little bit crunchy. These cards definitely offer you a lot of strategy. There's a lot of strategy in these cards. The way you start the field, despite, just dispersing some stuff into an open area, I also thought was very clever and different. Just a way to use your table, especially, I've got this nice green neoprene mat, which kind of makes the empty spots look like parks. We found that although it was asymmetrical, it does seem like the police have just as much chance to bust you as you do to get away with your wily tricks. As you go through the different spaces, there's a little police emblem with a number next to it, and every time you enter one of those, the police get one of these little badges here, and then they can spin those to buy upgrades, and that's how they get, more police cars and helicopters and so on. The real trick with the police is knowing when to save these little markers up, towards a helicopter, which is 8, and when to go ahead and deploy them for, a few extra advantages to really close in and net the driver in as it just kind of careens across town. This little game really did a lot for its components. All the meeples are really interesting to look at, and they're a lot of fun. And I love the artwork that they use both on the cards and on the actual individual tiles, which are nice and thick, good cardstock. It's got that nice finish, just like the box does. Gives it a real quality, texture to it. I liked it so much I even went ahead and sleeved all my cards. These are just standard cards. And like I said before, they have rules for 4-player if you've got 2 box sets of this, but I'm not sure how that would go. So congratulations to Uproarious Games. This is a great small form factor game that's easy to take around with you. You don't need a complicated space to play. Just got some cards, some tiles, some little wooden race cars. This Kickstarter pledge was $27 plus shipping, I believe. It was worth every penny. I'm not sure what the retail version of this is going to cost, but I do think there will be one, as I don't think there's anything in here that's a Kickstarter exclusive or anything like that. So more than likely, in the coming weeks, you'll be able to pick up one of these yourself. It was quite a successful Kickstarter in that it made $147,000. People pledged for this game. That's 5,076 backers. Their goal was 8,800, so they got way over their goal, and did good. And I like to see that, and I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see success in such a nice quality game. It's just a lot of fun. I think I had a great time. Real cat and mouse, real back and forth. And although it's versus, it doesn't feel as like nasty, I mean, she's laying traps. My wife would play the cops a lot, and she'd lay traps for me and try to do stuff, and I'd try to outsmart her and get around, and sometimes she'd get me, and sometimes I'd get away. But every game was really close, and it felt like it could go either way. That's all I got for you now. Tune in soon. I've got some new stuff coming up. The Hellboy box set, you can see it like looming in the background because it's humongous. That just arrived, and what I think I'd like to do is pull maybe the components for the first scenario out and paint them. So maybe I'll do some painting on here. I'd like to do a full painted review on it, but there's no way I'll get through all those miniatures in time. It'll be next year before I'm done painting this box. There's a lot of stuff. All right, but I'll be back real soon. Hope to see you then. Bye-bye. Hey folks, today I'd like to